Facts First presents. Fireman thought they were saving tiny puppies. Firefighters risk their lives every day to put out fires and to save people's lives. There's more to being a firefighter than just putting out fires. When a firefighter is on duty, he never knows what kind of calls he's going to get. Some are typical calls, but others aren't. The members of the Colorado Springs Fire Department got a rather unexpected call one day, and they had no idea that things were only going to get more unusual as the day went on. The call the fire department got that day was from somebody who claimed to hear crying sounds coming from a storm drain. They told the dispatcher it sounded like animal cries. It was raining that day, and the forecast called for more rain, much heavier through the day. If the caller was right, then there were actually animals trapped in this storm drain, and they'd be in serious trouble of drowning if the rain picked up. The firefighters knew they had to make sure that there were not trapped animals in there. The firefighters didn't waste any time, and they headed to the storm drain. They made sure that they had all the necessary tools to pull off the rescue safely. When they arrived on the scene, they saw the storm drain right away and they could hear those animals crying. They just couldn't figure out how the animals got in there. The rescuers took a look into the storm drain and they came up with a plan to get the animals out. They saw the animals down in the hole and they laid down some fabric so that they could pull the animals up to safety. When they saw the animals, they realized they were puppies. And once they brought the animals up, they knew they had to figure out if those dogs needed medical care. They had no idea how long the puppies had been down in the hole without access to food or clean water, and they also weren't sure if they were injured when they went into the hole. So how did they get there? That was the question that rescuers had. How did they get into that storm drain in the first place? Well, there was a litter of puppies trapped there. They were too small to get there on their own, too. The mother wasn't anywhere to be found, and the rescuers were sure that a mother would never leave her puppies alone in a storm drain like that. They assumed that somebody just didn't want that litter of puppies and decided to dump them instead of doing the responsible thing and taking them to a shelter. The rescuers were bringing the puppies up one by one. There were a total of 8 puppies in the storm drain. The puppies looked like a litter of Labradors, and the rescuers knew they had to get the puppies to a vet right away. Being so young and trapped without their mother, the rescuers were sure they would need medical treatment. When they had the puppies loaded into the truck, they did one more quick check to see if they could find the mother. If she was anywhere to be found, they knew that her puppies would need her, and finding her would be the best thing for them. Unfortunately, she was nowhere to be found. The rescuers knew they couldn't wait any longer, and they had to take those puppies to the vet. As soon as the rescuers loaded up the puppies into the truck, they took them to the Humane Society of Pikes Region. There was a vet there waiting to check out the puppies, and when they arrived with the puppies, they brought them right in, expecting to hear that they needed food and fluids. The rescuers never expected to hear what the vet discovered, though. The puppies looked like Labrador puppies, so the rescuers didn't expect any surprise when they got to the vet. As soon as the vet saw the litter, though, he told the rescuers that they did not find a litter of Labradors. In fact, these weren't even dogs at all. The animals that were rescued from the storm drain were actually baby foxes. According to the vet, finding a litter of baby red foxes in a strange place wasn't really out of the ordinary. If a mother goes out in search of food, she first makes sure that her puppies are safe and out of sight. The last thing a mother fox wants is for a human or some other animal to come across the puppies and cause them harm. Because of this, the mother will put them in a hidden place where they'll be safe until the mother returns. According to Travis Sauter, the manager of the Colorado Parks and Wildlife District Wildlife, red foxes are very smart animals. When it comes time for mothers to have their young, they understand they need to keep them safe, and the vet caring for the puppies believed the mother might not have put the puppies in the storm drain, but instead she gave birth in the storm drain. The vet gave the rescuers a quick lesson on red foxes, and when they were told that they had to bring the babies back to the storm drain, they were shocked. The vet told them the storm drain was actually the perfect den for a family of foxes. He told them they hoped the mother would still be in the area and go back to caring for her babies. They were worried that she wouldn't come back to care for them, so they decided that they'd have to come up with a backup plan, just in case. When the rescuers returned the baby foxes to the storm drain, they didn't want to just leave them alone, so they decided to wait far enough away from the storm drain so that the mother fox wouldn't see them, but still close enough that they'd be able to see if she returned to the babies. After a few hours of her not returning, the rescuers realized there was probably a good chance the mother was not going to come back. They were starting to think that their Plan B might be their only option. Plan B required them to go back to the storm drain and load those puppies right back into the truck again. That didn't bother the rescuers at all, though, because all they cared about was the safety of those baby red foxes. When they discovered the mother was not going to return, the only place the foxes could go at that point was the animal clinic of Woodland Park. There, the puppies would get the care and treatment necessary to regain their strength. They'd remain at the animal clinic until they were healthy enough and strong enough to live in the wild on their own. Baby foxes don't do well in captivity, so they really do need to be prepared to be released into the wild when they're old enough. Well, now that the fox's mother was nowhere to be found, it'd be up to the volunteers in the clinic to do the job of the mother and keep the babies healthy so that soon they'd be ready to go back into the wild. The baby foxes were actually lucky that they were found by the fire department who knew what to do with them. Most people would have confused the puppies with Labrador puppies the same way that the rescuers did at first. If somebody were to bring the babies home thinking they were puppies, they'd realize someday that red foxes do not make good pets. They're also not easy to care for. You can't just feed a red fox regular dog food and treats. They need a special diet. Also, red foxes don't do well in domestic living situations. Red foxes belong in the wild. The rescuers are happy that they were the ones who found the litter of foxes so that they could get the care that they needed from the experts. Before the litter of baby foxes could be returned to the wild, they had to be rehabilitated. Being so young and so small would make the litter of foxes easy prey for other animals out in the wild. If the foxes were going to have a chance at living a full life, they'd need to be able to protect themselves against predators, and that would take size and strength. They'd also need to be able to hunt and gather their own food. Without that skill, the experts at the animal clinic told the rescuers they wouldn't stand a chance until they were able to find their own food and water. Had the rescuers left the baby foxes with a vet, they would have received the care necessary to help them get stronger after being left alone so long. Still, they wouldn't have had a chance to get the essential rehabilitative care to prepare them for life on their own. Finally, after several weeks, the puppies were strong enough to be able to go back into the wild. The volunteers at the animal clinic worked hard to prepare the red foxes for a life out on their own. Before it was time to send the red foxes off, the volunteers decided to reach out to the firefighters who saved the baby foxes in the first place. They figured they'd want an update, especially since there was a happy ending. Finally, the day came to send the litter of red foxes out into the wild. The volunteers from the animal clinic got them ready, and a few of the firefighters went to the clinic to see the red foxes off as well. Even though they didn't have their mother to watch out for them, they were now ready to be out on their own. According to volunteers at the animal clinic, foxes have instincts that they're born with, which helps them live out in the wild on their own. The volunteers were confident that the red foxes would have the necessary instincts to survive. Volunteers at the animal clinic hope this story helps others know what to do if they come across a litter of tiny animals without a mother. First, they say that you should not take the puppies from where they are unless they are in immediate danger. Instead, you should wait close by and make sure that the mother returns. If hours go by and there is no sign of the mother, you should do what the firefighters did. Take the puppies to the vet or call animal control. If they are actual puppies, they can be nursed back to health and adopted by their forever families. If it turns out the puppies are not puppies, like in this case, the vets and animal control will know where to bring the puppies. If they don't know offhand, they can make a few phone calls, find the best place for the animals to go. If you do find a litter, that last thing that you should do is take them home to your own place and try to care for them yourself. Even if they are just puppies, they still need special care, vitamins, nutrients. They will need treatment from a vet to grow and thrive. When the red foxes were released into the wild, the volunteers say they remained together when they headed out on their own. The firefighters were deemed heroes. If the fox's mother didn't come back and the rain had picked up, those baby foxes more than likely would have drowned. The firefighters were heroes for bringing those red foxes to get the help they needed so that there's a real chance that they'll thrive and live happily in the wild. These firemen thought they were saving puppies. Turned out to be red foxes. Fortunately, they did the right thing, and they gave those foxes a great chance at life. It's too bad red foxes can't be domesticated. Dang, those guys were cute. Subscribe for more.